to Bad Influence. In today's show, how to connect to live spy cameras all around the world and eavesdrop on secret things, including what goes on in the Bad Influence office when I'm not there to keep an eye on them.
We'll be looking at the way the new super consoles can be linked together so that you can bash, maim and damage your mates. Or in this case, our star guest this week, Mr. Noah Huntley.
Our main review this week is Donkey Kong Land on the old but not forgotten Game Boy.
And I'll be getting all dolled up to meet the big fish in the computer graphics industry at SIGGRAPH 95.
A new feature on the Jaguar is about to make playing Doom even better, if that's possible. It's called Serial Play, and with a cable like this, Wayne over here and Zoe over here can play an independent head-to-head game in the same environment. Now, they've each got their own monitor, their own Jaguar, and their own copy of Doom, and they can each move independently around the same game. Now, there, for example, is Wayne in Zoe's monitor.
And right there is Zoe in Wayne's monitor.
All right, guys, go for it. Each player gets dropped in a different location and they have to stalk each other through the game. You can actually creep up behind one another and blast each other to bits.
Serial Play isn't just a feature of super consoles. The Mega Drive has a link-up game called Zero Tolerance. The cable plugs into the second joypad port, and again, you can see each other's character in the screens.
And the same principle applies to the PlayStation. This is the lead in question, and with it, you can give your mates a real good bashing. I suppose, Noah, you'd be kind of familiar with this sort of wrecking cars scene.
What do you mean?
Well, if you didn't see it, here's how Noah's character met his sad end in a recent episode of Emmerdale. Yeah, dangerous stuff. Was that you, for real?
Well, no, it was me up until the crash, and then a stuntman came in and the explosion went on. I wish a stuntman would come in here, actually.
You could do with a stuntman, actually. You're not doing terribly well, are you? But in Destruction Derby, both players are lined up in a circle with 20 other cars, all trying to smash each other to bits until only one car is remaining. Each competitor is marked by an arrow, and you can take on the other computer droids or just target your friend's car. Take that, Huntley!
This is my special star challenger, Leon, and he's here to test the weirdest link-up challenge yet, Heretic on the PC. In Heretic, players are thrown into a wacky world of demons and monsters and have to fight their way out by making best use of all the spells and weapons they find scattered around. But to have the most fun, human players can fight each other inside dungeons, blasting each other with spells or even turning one another into chickens before firing them with lightning blasts. With the use of additional software loaded down from the net, you can link up to 4 computers. We've got 3 here for the guys to try. So, Leon, how's it going?
It's going good. I've just turned someone into a chicken. I don't know who.
Yeah, what are you doing? Well, you've got the egg.
Oh, yeah, here's the egg. Here it is, here.
He's got the egg, so you're in the lead, basically.
Yeah, I'm in the lead.
What about you, Andy? How are you going?
I've been turned into a chicken, and if Noah stands still, I'm going to peck him to death. Come on.
Oh, sore loser. And now how's it going for you?
Oh, I'm winning.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm winning.
He wins every game. The guys are basically getting toasted by Leon, but there is a special reason for that. He is the newly crowned winner of the Blockbuster Video World Games Championship. Well done. How did you do it, though?
Well, it all started off, I heard about the competition, and then I, got into the regional finals, and I won that, which is enough for me already, and I got a trip to San Francisco.
Brilliant.
I got entered in the world finals. And in the world finals, I won that as well, and I got $5,000 plus loads of other stuff.
You must be practicing all the time.
No, I only play like an hour max a day, you know, because I've got a life. I do other things, you know.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Well done. And I just played with the champs.
Oh, I guess I'll have to get used to life as a chicken. Enough of super consoles. There's life in the old systems yet. Our main review this week is Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy. Diddy and Donkey Kong are back in a new adventure. They have to rise to a new challenge set in 4 different worlds and face a whole lot of critters on the way. Donkey Kong Land boasts new background settings and all kinds of secrets and bonus levels. All the gameplay from the SNES classic Donkey Kong Country is there. Collect tokens for extra lives and points. Look out for the extra life balloons and don't forget your bananas. Here's Chris.
In this new Kong adventure, the developers have clearly tried to emulate the playability of the SNES classic Donkey Kong Country, and surprisingly, they've succeeded. The theme of the game is the same. The evil Kremlins have hidden your bananas, and you have to find them. The game is more difficult than the SNES Classic, but partly because of the restrictions of the Game Boy, it's quite difficult to see what's going on at times. The gameplay is very similar to the SNES Classic. I just found Donkey Kong here, but unlike the original game, he doesn't follow me round. There are many friends throughout the game to help you. I just found Rhino here. Controlling the apes soon becomes second nature. They have simplified the look of the game, taking out the scrolling backgrounds, for example, but there is still a very 3D look. I think I'm going for a bonus level here, and yeah, this is one of the many bonus levels in the game. I just collected an extra life balloon. This is definitely one of the best games on any handheld. If you have a Game Boy, you can't really afford to miss it.
Although it is slower than the SNES version, I think this game's excellent.
It plays every bit as well as the SNES version, but at times the screen's just far too cluttered.
And the scores for Donkey Kong Land, both the girls and boys gave it a growling 4 out of 5. Now, Noah said earlier he was doing really well on Donkey Kong Land, but I don't believe him. You're not, are you?
No, well, I was lying before, but I'm doing all right now.
Yeah? Do you like the game, then?
It's excellent, yeah.
So well recommended?
Definitely well recommended.
Jolly good. Well, just a quick reminder of how our scoring system works. The mark awarded by the panel reflects one quality only, and that's playability.
So, a game like Tetris on the Game Boy scores a must-have 5, because although the graphics and sound aren't that great, to play, it's one of the most addictive games ever.
On the other hand, a brand new game like Panzer Dragoon on the Saturn only scored a very average 3 when we reviewed it. The graphics and the sound are brilliant, but who cares when it ain't fun to play?
And Total Eclipse on the 3DO scored an abysmal 1 out of 5. Again, looks great, but boring gameplay.
The new consoles are so powerful that it's virtually impossible to produce a bad-looking game. And every year, the technology gets better and better. Now, earlier in the year, Violet Berlin visited a computer graphics exhibition where she got a sneak preview into the sort of images we'd have at home in about 5 years' time. Now, you should look at this carefully now, because it's all about actors. Yeah.
Hello from Hollywood, the centre of America's film and entertainment industry. But we're not here to spot big-name movie stars, we're here to see a show.
SIGGRAPH 95. Los Angeles is home of the Oscars, so we thought it might be appropriate to hand out our own awards.
And here it is, our answer to the Oscar, the highest honour we can bestow, the Andy.
Lots of things at SIGGRAPH are like the real Hollywood, except here, everything is virtual.
Meet the improv actors.
These virtual actors don't need a director or a script. They've got computer-generated personalities, so they can communicate with each other using body language and sound.
And I can even enter the scene myself, but not as a human, as a bat. Look, there I am. And seeing as I'm standing right at the front of the area, the bat's at the front of his area. And as I walk backwards, the bat goes backwards too. Wherever I go, he goes too. And because I'm a bat, all I have to do is flap, and I can fly. Up, up and away!
Oi, Sam!
Sam is another virtual actor, and he's got some sophisticated voice recognition software. For SIGGRAPH, they've taught him to play Simon Says. Watch this. Simon Says, walk down stage. Sit down. You win, Sam. And the nominees for the most fun you can have with a character who's floating in mid-air are the Bat and Sam. And the winner is... Sam. There you go. Come on, take it. Well, if you don't want it, a walk-on part on Bad Influence, and he thinks he's Tom Cruise. Lovely, I tell you, the makeup people on this shoot are awful. Actually, I've got all this stuff on my face because I'm operating a new animation system called Imperactor. All you need is a video camera, a PC, and hidden away around the corner there, £30,000 worth of Silicon Graphics workstation.
It's different from other systems because it doesn't use any wires. You control the fish's movements just by moving your face.
This means that when I raise an eyebrow, or talk, or move my head, the fish follows suit. So, the Andy for the best use of felt tip pen used in a presenter's face on a Wednesday goes to the fish.
Of course, we should really be giving our virtual actors a virtual award.
Microscribe 3D allows you to scan objects into your computer by hand. You just run the pen along the object, and the computer works out what its shape is.
The computer creates a 3D wire mesh frame, which follows the contours of the object. To finish it off, all you need to do is render the frame with a smooth texture.
And the Andy, for the most number of model planes on their stand, goes to Microscribe 3D. But you've already got one on your computer, so I think I'll have that.
So, what do virtual actors do when they've finished work?
Anyone for table tennis?
Believe me, this game is a lot harder than it looks. In front of me is a video camera that puts my image into the game, and a sensor that picks up the movements of my bat. When you get tired of tennis, you can go back to the locker room and choose another game. I think I'll go for a bit of one-on-one at the hoop.
2 points.
And the Andy for the best game, using bats that make you look a bit like an air traffic controller, goes to RealWear VR.
No, not a mime act. This is where virtual actors go at the end of the day, back to their virtual homes. Smart Model is the ultimate tool in 3D landscape gardening. Users put on a virtual reality helmet to enter the design world and some VR gloves. They can then start to build their own street, complete with houses, trees, roads and fences.
Your virtual town has all the amenities, including a local park, and everything can be moved or redesigned at the flick of your hand. If your garage is too small for your virtual Rolls-Royce, simple. Just pick it up and stretch it.
So the Andy for best free muffin on their stand goes to Smart Model. Well, that's it for SIGGRAPH 95. And all that remains for me is say thank you to everyone who's made this evening possible, especially Ricky, Dickie, Kenny, Emmy and Stevie Spielbergy. It's so wonderful that we've all come together.
Violet Berlin in Los Angeles. I think there's quite a likeness in this Andy, don't you?
I don't know, I haven't seen Andy with no clothes on.
Well, neither have I, neither have I.
Time now for this week's news and preview.
With a budget of $2 million and rising, Heart of Darkness for the PC CD-ROM is going to be big. Yippee! You play Andy, a streetwise kid whose faithful dog Whiskey gets sucked away into a black hole during a solar eclipse. You immediately set out to find your dog in your trusty spacecraft. Unfortunately, your piloting isn't that good, and you end up crashing your ship, which means you now have to find Whiskey on foot. On the way, you have to dispatch evil creatures with your ray gun, scale tricky mountains, and avoid being eaten by plants. It should be out in April next year.
Believe it or not, this CD contains all the 44 million words of these 32 volumes. This is the PC CD-ROM version of the Encyclopedia Britannica. It features all the articles found in the printed version. The CD is half the price of the books, but it still isn't cheap at £755.
If your mouth's been watering at all the new super consoles, but you've only got a humble SNES, don't worry, dust off the cobwebs and start playing Doom. The SNES conversion features all the 7 weapons, from a simple handgun to the latest high-tech plasma blaster. The stunning 3D graphics are produced by the FX2 chip contained in the cartridge. Due out late October.
And now for some more games reviews.
Heads up! Demolition Man has finally come out on the SNES. The year is 2032. Simon Phoenix, the ultimate cutthroat criminal, has escaped from the San Angeles cryo prison. The only man that can match him is John Spartan, the last rough-and-tumble, shoot-first, ask-questions-later cop of the 21st century. So, will you be hunting this game out or leaving it in cold storage? Here's Paul.
Most film conversions are dodgy, but this one is an exception to the rule. This is level 2. It has a different style of gameplay with an overhead view. At the end of each level, there is a map telling you where you've been and where you're going next. One of the things I like best is when you shoot the backgrounds, they blow up. This isn't a game you can just pick up and play. You need to practice. But as shoot-em-ups go, it's not bad.
I found this game really playable. At first, I thought it would just be another game released after a film, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Overall, the game is a little dated, but compared to some of the other film licenses, it's a good solid shoot-em-up.
And the scores for Demolition Man. The boys liked it, they gave it a 4. The girls, not so good, a 3.
The PlayStation and Saturn versions of Street Fighter the movie have just been released. The game boasts digitised backgrounds and characters from the movie, including Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie. But is there enough new gameplay to make it worth buying? Here's Sally with the Saturn version.
It still has the appeal of the original Street Fighter, but there are better beat-em-ups in the shops. I'm playing DJ. Now, you can play straight from the instruction book. You've really got to practice the moves. I'm going to do a special move right now. It's called a jackknife. There he goes. There's no point in buying Street Fighter the movie if you already have the previous games.
It may have a flashy new look, but it's just the same old, tired formula.
It's just another beat-em-up. A few added movie sequences does not make new and exciting gameplay.
Scores then for Street Fighter the movie. Both the boys and the girls gave it a rather two-dimensional 2 out of 5. If you've been checking out our exciting worldwide website, then I'm sure you were thrilled to discover our office camera page, bringing you live pictures of our production team in action. Well, this is the actual camera we use, and it's connected to a computer down there.
Every 10 minutes, the computer automatically grabs a still image, which it then sends to the Bad Influence worldwide website. And then anyone around the world connected to the internet can look at it. Now, for most of the week, the system lives in the production office. That's our producer, Patrick, and the floor manager, Val. This is Colin, one of our producers, thinking that his legs are so fantastic, he's got to share them with the rest of the world. Colin, long trousers, please. It's a must.
There are loads of live cameras out there if you've got internet access, and here's Virtual Violet with her opinion of just a few of them.
The hundreds of live cameras on the net mean that you can spy on exciting things all over the world, such as what's happening right now on the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, not very much at the moment. What someone you don't know in America is watching on telly. Fascinating. There's even a guy who walks around with a camera mounted on his head so you can see his point of view at any moment in time. Right now, he seems to be lying on his side. Maybe it's the weight of the camera. Yep, it may all sound exciting, but it's actually incredibly dull. The point of video cameras is that they take moving pictures, but the cameras on the net only take a still picture about once every 5 minutes, if you're lucky. So why don't we get real video on the net? It would be great if you could hook up your camcorder and broadcast live to the world. Your computer would turn into a TV with thousands of amateur channels. Unfortunately, there's no way to download the necessary 25 pictures per second. With most modems, the download rate is more like 25 seconds per picture. The technology just isn't fast enough yet. So take a long, hard look at this empty coffee pot. Very interesting. And now that you've seen it, you won't have to spend hours on the internet accessing all the so-called live cameras, an alarming number of which do seem to be trained on some kind of drinks container.
Virtual Violet not impressed. This week's competition prize is a Game Boy with Donkey Kong Land, and the competition question is, which famous computer games character appeared in the very first Donkey Kong game? Was it A, Sonic, B, Pac-Man, or C, Mario? Phone in your answers on 0891 800 300. 0891 800 300. The call will cost you no more than 25p. The lines will stay up until midnight on Sunday, but do please get permission from whoever pays the phone bill before you dial, and we always check to make sure you have.
And remember, you can't win if you don't get permission. Now, last week's competition prize was a Mega Drive with this game, Comic Zone. And the question was, which comic book character who lives in Gotham City first appeared in Detective Comics number 27? The answer was Batman. Now, we had 16,000 entries, but we can only have one winner, and that is James Norris from Lancashire. By the way, James, if you've got that copy of Detective Comics number 27, please send it to me, because do you know how much it's worth? £95,000. That's how much?
How much? Send it to me.
No, me. Because I asked first, James, so me. Anyway, 10 runners up get Bad Influence, Bad Crew T-shirts.
Oh, here.
And their names are running across the screen right now.
So well done to you. That's just about it for this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the programme. Fancy another game of Heretic?
Oh, yes, indeedy.
This is Violet Berlin for Bad Influence, saying thank you, good night, and take care. I love you.